A very good evening to everyone present here. And first and foremost, I would like to say, convey my extreme apologies for making you all wait. But thank you once again for your patience. So, it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you all to the online psychology workshop organized by AIB Sri Lanka. My name is Zafra Aswar Ali, and I work as an associate lecturer and program coordinator for psychology. So I'll be the moderator for today's session. So before we dive into the exciting content that's lined up for us, I would like to introduce a little bit about AIB. So it's known as Academy of International Business and Study Abroad. And it was established in 2015 and conducts several programs like digital marketing, graphic designing, psychology, content writing, and even offers IELTS and PTE. And so the organization has been at the forefront in several areas like e-commerce, digital agency, and recruitment and marketing agency as well. So for more information, you can log into www.aibedu.org. So now I would like to introduce our distinguished speaker for today's session. We are honored to have with us Ms. Shameena Pallie, who is an expert in the field of business psychology. And we are privileged to have her share her thoughts with us today with regards to today's session. So if you all have any questions, please feel free to actively participate and ask your questions and also share your thoughts. So once again, I welcome you all to this insightful session. And without any further delay, I invite Ms. Shameena Pallie to take over.
Okay, so I believe I'm audible. And if I am not, please tell me and I will adjust accordingly. My apologies, I'm not in the best of energies today. I was actually not too well from morning, but let me try to share some knowledge from what I have gathered so that you will know. I think at least my objective is so that you will know how important it is, not just to know yourself, but also to know others, especially when you are dealing in a business environment. Okay, so since the timing is kind of short, I think we will probably end somewhere around 7:30. So I am not going to stop you guys and ask you a lot of questions, but if you do, please use the chat box or unmute. I'd rather you unmute because I can't go and check the chat box unless Zafra will help me with that. Okay, so the title of the workshop is called Business Psychology. I'd like to call it Your Powerful Business Mind. Okay, and I'd like to take it in a different flow. I'd like to start with who am I? Okay, we need to know who we are before we want to deal with other people. So I'll tell you a little bit about how and what shapes our character, what shapes our values, what shapes our behavior. Okay, and then who am I? What motivates me? Okay, what motivates me? What motivates everyone else? Okay, I use theories from psychologists, scholars, and those who have done a little bit of research in this area, because I find these theories quite interesting. So I'll be using a little bit of theory when I take you through these concepts. And then I go into inside the mind of a unique leader, very, very basic. Okay, I'm not going to go into the deep the deep and intricate workings of a leader's mind, but I will tell you how we think. Okay, I'm just taking you through the flow of just a normal human being who is motivated, who has problems, who has emotions, who has excitement, and who also wants to be a successful business employee, so a successful business person, a successful leader, a manager. All of these aspirations and ambitions we have in our lives, and all of this is important, is very important. Actually, what makes all of this possible for us is our emotions and understanding the mind. Okay. And also, in the end, you had mentioned engagement. I'd like to call it helping people shine their light or find their light, discover themselves. Okay. Because engagement, okay, employee engagement, if you are in HR, employee engagement is liking your work. Okay. Finding meaning in your work, enjoying your work. I don't know if you heard of the term ikigai. You get paid for doing what you like and what you're good at. And that's the perfect place to be. Okay. When you have found a job or a profession or a business or wherever that you are in, something that you like, something that you're good at, and something that you can make money out of, you don't have to work a day in your life, because that's the perfect place to be. Okay. And then we go into stress. Is stress good? Okay. You're going to be answering some questions whether stress is good. Okay. So let me start with I'm gonna move all these little things all over the place on my screen. Let me start with Freud. If anyone is familiar with Sigmund Freud, okay, he's the father of psychoanalysis. If anyone has done psychology here, you can always add. Okay, so please use the chat box if you have any thoughts to share. So I'm going to ask you a question. What is this iceberg? Now you're seeing a picture here. We're talking about an iceberg. Okay. And then there's unconscious, preconscious, conscious. What's this? Anyone would like to unmute or use the chat box? Anyone knows what I'm talking about here? Okay, so I think you guys will have to kind of get a little more active on the chat box, because if you were there with me physically, I haven't done a lot of online sessions in the recent past after COVID. Everything that I do has been offline. I'm doing online after, I think, a year or so. So if you were in my physical class, you wouldn't get the chance to stay quiet. Okay, so you're getting away today because we are online. So Freud compares the mind to an iceberg. Okay, and what you can see in an iceberg is only the tip. Okay, so that is called the conscious mind. Okay, and that is what we think that we know. Okay, what we do. Okay, I want to go somewhere, I'm going somewhere. I want to do this course, I'm going. I want to eat something, I'm eating. Okay, I like this person, I don't like this person. All this is in our conscious. Okay, these are our thoughts and our perceptions, which are on the conscious mind. It's on the top. Okay, this is all we can see, this is all other people can see. But our mind is so deep and so powerful. Okay, there is the preconscious and the unconscious, or we call it the subconscious. Okay, deep down in our minds, we have our motives, and sometimes they call it our selfish motives, because we want some things for ourselves. We want to have little things that, other people, I want to be better than someone else. That's in my subconscious sometimes. Okay, I don't want to go and tell someone out there, I don't want you to be better than me, or I don't want you to achieve better than me. Okay, but these are all in our subconscious. So the subconscious actually stores our memories. It stores our past experiences. It shows the things that we have gone through as children, maybe good, maybe traumatic experiences, fears that came out of these experiences, if we have um, if we had felt something that really bothered us as a 5-year-old, all of these things may have triggered a small fear in us, and that's what we carry into our adulthood. Okay, so these are our subconscious and preconscious memories and knowledge, and this is what actually is what we are made of. Okay, so when you are going to talk to someone, when you are dealing with someone, and you might have a moody boss, a terribly angry uh, 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 work colleague, don't judge them immediately. Okay, they might be moody, they might be looking unpleasant, they might be looking sad, they might be quiet, but there's a lot going on below the surface. Okay, so why I told you about Freud's iceberg theory is because there's a lot that a person is made of. Okay, and we cannot judge them by the face of it. Okay, just by looking at someone, we can't say that person is not a good person. There are there are a whole load of learning and experiences and knowledge that person has gone through that is making them that way. Okay, so that's a little bit about who are we. Okay, now who am I? Where does it start? Now, before I go into business psychology, I'm going to teach you a little bit about the psychology, the mind of the human. And then, business psychology is pretty much applying whatever you know about people. It's very, very simple. Okay, if you know people, if you can deal with your emotions, if you can deal with other people's emotions, if you don't take things personally, and if you can actually rise above the challenges in your mind, business psychology is it. Okay, so where does it start? Understanding yourself and others. So there is something called the self concept. Okay, now that is us, me, and I have my actual self. That is how I see myself. Okay, how people perceive themselves, how I see myself. I am cool, I am bright, I am ambitious, I am this, I am that. Okay, that is how you see yourself. And then there is an ideal self. Okay, I am someone who wants to be a good human being. I want to be kind. I want to be generous. That's your ideal self. Okay. And then there's your social self. How people feel that others see them. Okay. Now, people are going to see us in a certain way. Okay. They're going to see us. We may think we are really, really. Now, if your actual self and your social self actually needs to match, right? Now, I say that I am really, really nice. And if I need to feel that you also see me as really, really nice. Otherwise, there's a conflict, right? You need to see me as really, really nice. And then there's another aspect of it, how people really see you. Okay? How they see you. If you think you're nice and someone else sees you as a not so nice person, then you really need to look at who you are. Okay? And then there is the ideal social self, how people would like others to see them. Okay, now I think I know. Now if you take me, I think I'm a good teacher. That's my actual self. My ideal self, I want to be an excellent teacher. I want to be like the best teacher ever. And then my social self is, I am thinking that you are looking at me as uh, a person who has just come into uh, a session, who probably knows something about business psychology. Okay, so that is my social self. I, I, I am thinking about how you might see me. And then ideal social self, how people would like others. Now, I would want you to see me in a certain way. I want you to see me as an expert. I want you to see me as a great teacher. Okay, that's my ideal social self. And then expected self, how people expect to see themselves at some future time. And this is where the importance of goals come into play. Okay, this is why we have goals, because we see ourselves, and you may have been asked this question in interviews. Where do you see yourself in 3 years? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Okay, and this is called the journey of progression. Okay, and this is how we grow in our life. Okay, so this is just an idea of the self concept. Okay, now don't worry. This is not a psychology lesson, but I'm just telling you where people come from and why they are the way they are now. Okay, so when you are getting to know people, you need to understand that must be a reason. Okay, so now when you go to your class, or if you're a student, you will go to your class. If you're working, you will go to an office. Okay, um, or in a social setting with your family, friends, all of them, you are going to be meeting a whole load of different people. Okay, different characteristics. You're going to see moody people, you're going to see angry people, you're going to see friendly people, you're going to see bubbly, lively people who are like always, hi, and like they are the life of the entire, hall. And then you're going to see people who are just going to stay in a corner and not look at you or not talk to you. And there are going to be people who are really shy, that even if you go and introduce yourself to them, they will just tremble when they answer. Okay. So you're going to meet a whole load of people that you're going to deal with in your life at every stage of your life. And I will tell you the stages of life that we will go through. Okay. So when we are children, okay, when we are born as babies, we attach ourselves to our parents or whoever is taking care of us as a child at 1 years, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Okay. And that is called an attachment. Okay. We form an attachment with the first person that we meet as a baby. That could be our mother or father or someone who is going to take care of us. Now, that attachment, now just imagine the beauty of this. The attachment that we form as a 1, 2, 3, 4-year-old can have lasting impacts as a 20, 25, 30, 35, 40-year-old. Okay. And this is why they say that we need to treat children with so much of love, care, respect, and attention, because all of those experiences are going to create that person in the future. Okay. They become that adult, okay, in the future. So when you are attached in a certain manner, you become a certain type of adult. Okay. And this is called secure, anxious, ambivalent, avoidant, fearful, avoidant. Now, what kind of people are they? Now, if you had a good relationship as a baby, as a toddler, and if they treated you with love, they gave you the right kind of attention, they didn't make you cry, then you are a securely attached child. And how are they now? They are very confident. They are open. They don't have, a problem talking to people. They have a good relationship with people. They can become successful individuals in life. Okay. Actually, some people, can actually be successful even if they had a really bad childhood, like Hitler. Okay. Hitler became a very negatively successful leader, but he had a traumatic childhood. But overall, you become a very normal, independent, responsible, respectable adult with very good relationships with people. These type of people have good relationships, okay, good personal relationships, good working relationships. They can express themselves without a problem. They can, confidently walk into a room. They don't fear social, society or anything like that. They don't feel bad about themselves. These are secure people. Okay, you're going to be meeting these kind of people too. Okay. And then there are anxious, ambivalent people. These people are constantly like disorganized. They're worried. They're like wondering what's going to go wrong. They're like, um, they're like all over the place, and then they're constantly having, ups and downs in their relationships. They will have, good time with their colleagues today, and then they'll have a bad time tomorrow. Same with their relationships. It's not consistent. Okay. There are good days, bad days, good days, bad days, always fighting. Okay. Grumpy, clingy, worried. So these are anxious, ambivalent people. Avoidant people, you will see a very, very small number, I guess. They're not going to talk to anyone. We call them antisocial. They just stay in a corner and they don't want to. If you go and talk to them also, they'll just give you one one-word answers and they're not going to bother. Okay. So these are people who had an attachment where people actually neglected them. Okay, their caregivers neglected them. They were not given the kind of attention when they were small children. Okay, so these are people who will not want to have any kind of relationship with you. They don't want to have too many attachments. They'll just do their thing and they'll go. But you are going to meet these people as well. Okay, and you will have to get along with these people. Okay, so when you meet these people, just understand there must be a reason. Okay, I'm not saying always it is this reason, but there's always a reason that they are the way they are, and you'll have to adapt accordingly. Fearful, avoidant. These people are very timid, okay, very scared. They don't want to answer a question. They don't want to talk. They're scared of you. If someone raises their voice, they might cry. These are the people who are always punished, abused as children, okay? So it's not always the case, okay? But these are theories I'm giving you, psychological theories, okay? So that's a little bit about how people were as children can make them who they are as adults. And these adults are the people that you're going to meet in society, in the places that you work, in the places that you study, in the places that you just hang around, okay? So, and these are the stages of human development that I was talking about. Now, when you are a child, as an infant, you start forming trust. Okay, that's when you start forming trust in people as a child. Okay, and as a toddler, when you start potty training, that's when you start becoming independent. Okay, you say that, okay, I want to go potty on my own. That's where you start becoming an independent adult. Okay, and then you go on, and as a teenager, you start identifying who you are. Okay, who am I? What kind of person am I? What kind of emotions do I have? What kind of orientation am I? All of these, you start developing your sense of who you are. What do you really want to be as a human being? That's when you start developing your identity as a child. Young adult, I think most of you are in this stage, intimacy versus isolation. And this is where we actually start developing our relationships, okay? This is where we decide whether we want to have people around us, okay? Do we want to have relationships? It can be love relationships, it can be friendships, it can be work relationships. All of this, you are deciding at this point of time. Do I want intimacy? Do I want connection with people? Or do I want isolation? Do I want to be alone? Leave me alone. It's your choice. So people will choose one of the two. Okay. I want to be connected to others. I don't want to be connected to others. I want to be on my own. I'm a lone wolf. Okay. So then you go into middle age. That's where I am. Generativity versus stagnation. That's where you realize, okay, what have I done with my life? Have I done enough? Have I achieved enough? Okay. So that is where you really want to see whether all this career that you achieved in the past, has it been successful? Okay. And then you have integrity versus despair. That is when you're actually old and you look back in your life and you realize, have I really lived my life to the maximum? Have I done good things with my life? Have I actually wasted my life? Have I actually contributed to a better world? Okay, at that age, you decide, is my life lived well at 80 years? So we will all go through this stage. Okay, we will all go through these stages in life. And why I'm telling you all of this is because this is how the human mind works. Okay, now, uh, when you go into leadership, there are different types of personalities. Okay, this is called the ocean model, where we use the words openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. Now, when you work and when you study with people, I'm giving you those two settings that you guys might be in. you're going to be working with these kind of people. You're going to be,
sorry for the
yes,
interruption.
yes.
There's a question on the chat box regarding your
Okay.
previous.
Yes, exactly, Kiara. This is Erickson's theory. Yes, absolutely. That's Erik Erikson's 7 stages. So you probably know a lot of the theories of psychosocial and psychoanalysis development. So yes, thank you, Kiara, for that question. And please, ask me more questions and unmute, okay? I may miss the chat. So please unmute, okay? So, yeah. So, when you go into a personality traits of individuals, you're going to find personality traits in leaders as well, okay? Now, what makes you most successful is if you're on the right-hand side of this, okay? If you're seeing my screen. So we have, this is again one, okay? One type. Openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. Now, if you say openness, it depends on how open we are to new things, how open we are into new ideas and concepts, or are we closed? Are we very, no, I don't think I want to do this? Are we just on one track? Or are we curious to explore? Okay, so always, if you want to be a good leader, you have to have a nice balance between, the high and the low score, between being practical and being, curious. You have to have a nice balance because you can't be completely closed. Okay, you need to have new ideas. You need to be innovative. You need to have imagination. All of that if you are going to be a strong leader. Okay. Second, conscientiousness. What does that mean? Okay, thoughtfulness. In one word, I would call it thoughtfulness. Okay, you think before you do something. You take responsibility. Okay, now if you have met some people on the left side, they are careless, they are disorganized. They just tell, okay, I'll come today at 5 o'clock, and then then they say last minute they say, okay, I'm sorry, I just can't come. Okay, so they're careless, or they'll just see something and they'll just say, okay, let's take a trip today. Okay, so it's okay. It's okay to be spontaneous, but as long as you're responsible. Okay, so that is a little bit about conscientious. Yeah, so on the right hand side, you are more hardworking, you are more responsible. Okay, you are more dependable. Okay, so in the interest of time, I think we have only about another 40 minutes. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. Uh, and then there's extroversion. Okay, how outgoing are you? How sociable are you? How do you express yourself? Now, this is something I believe you guys need to improve, unless, of course, you are not listening. If you are extroverts, if you guys are extroverts, whether you are online or not, you will really, really talk. Okay. So you are like outgoing, you want to share your ideas. If you look at different cultures, now, if I was actually now when I actually either do online or if I travel to India and I take lectures in India, the students are very, very outgoing. Okay. They will ask me questions like every 5 minutes. Okay. They will share their views. They will, they'll engage very heavily, but that's part of their culture. They're very, very extroverted. Okay, so they're outgoing. Okay, so on the other spectrum of extroversion is quiet, reserved. Okay, and then agreeableness. So agreeableness is how nice are you, how agreeable, how cooperative are you. Okay, and then neuroticism. So that is, in a very, in a very simple word, are you kind of, unstable, a little crazy, or are you kind of normal? Okay, so we call people, oh my god, she's neurotic here. So if you are on the high spectrum of neuroticism, now here you need to be a little more careful because you can't be on the high spectrum. You need to be very calm. Okay, you need to be very controlled of your emotions, especially if you want to be a strong leader. Okay, you need to know that you can't, and I'm saying this, but sometimes I forget it too, You can't throw things, you can't say, I'm just mad at you didn't finish the report on time. And you can't scream and dash doors or slam your laptop. These are not strong traits of leaders. Okay. So this is the big five, and we call it the personality traits of individuals. Now, why is my screen stuck? Okay. Now I'm going to share, go into a little bit of leadership and why I put this. It is amazing what you can accomplish if you do not care who gets the credit, okay? In my opinion, and according to a lot of thought, thought leaders, and a lot of ideas on leadership that has come forward, you can truly be a great leader only if you don't care whether you are shining, you're recognized for it, you're given rewards for it. Okay. Leadership or strong leadership does not require credit, recognition, popularity, being, having a garland, all of that. Okay. You can be a great leader when you give someone else the credit, your team. Okay. And I know it is a hard thing to do. Okay. At a young age, especially at your age, you want to be appreciated and valued, and you want people to say, I can see only Kiara's like, Kiara did a great job. Ayesha did a great job. Tilakshi did a great job. Okay. But as we get older and as we become mature leaders, that is not important anymore. Okay. So it is, so when you actually are in a position where you don't care who gets recognized and who gets the credit for it, you'll anyway do it. Okay. This is just a story about, I'm sure you've never heard of Coleman Mockler. He was one of the CEOs of Gillette. You've never heard of him, okay? Because he was one of the most humble leaders. And that is why you never heard of him, because he's not a Richard Branson, he's not a Steve Jobs, he's not a Rishi Sunak. And he was so low profile, but he achieved, and this is a graph of the exponential share gains he achieved for his company as a CEO. He followed two things. It's actually an excerpt from a book. He was a level 5 leader. Okay. We call these people level 5 leaders because they build enduring greatness through a blend of personal humility and professional will. Now, what is personal humility and professional will? Very simply, you want to do the best, okay? But you are humble. Okay, now it's a very deep concept and I can't explain it to you in 10 minutes or even 1 hour. It's a conversation on its own. Level 5 leadership is a conversation on its own. But when you are personally humble, okay, and where does humility come from? Humility comes from not wanting to go out there and show. I'm not saying, don't put yourself out there, but humility comes from not wanting to go and, overpower everyone and show how better you are than them, how, make yourself stand out. So all these are examples of not being humble, okay? It's non-humility, okay? So professional will, let me take you through this. Professional will, they create superb results, okay? They are taking companies from average to great because they are so focused on getting the best result, okay? They demonstrate an unwavering resolve to do whatever must be done to produce the best results, no matter how difficult. Now, what do we do sometimes, what makes a great individual a great performer and an average performer? Average performers will say, you can't do this, Sunny. No petrol, economic crisis, no sales, can't. That's actually not the mindset of a super successful performer. A super successful performer will be like, I don't care, I'm going to look for a way. Okay, I don't care if there's no fuel. I don't care if there's no power. I don't care if I'm going to sweat doing this. And I know people like this. Okay, I know individuals, they exist. So that differentiates you from good and great. Okay, so these people will find a way to do it no matter what. And I urge you to be that kind of person, because you're going to discover so much inside you that you didn't know existed when you actually start looking for new ways and new solutions. And if you believe in, the possibilities, you will actually find the new ways and set the standard of building and enduring, greatness. They will settle for nothing less and looks in the mirror, not out the window. Okay, what does that mean? Okay, what do? We don't look in the mirror, we look out the window, right? What's looking in the mirror? Looking at yourself. Looking out the window is looking at other people. What are they doing wrong? Okay. So great leaders, they look at the mirror. They look at, okay, what can I do different? How am I managing my team? Am I the problem? Okay. They bring it back to me. Okay. Not so great leaders, what do? You might have actually met some of these people. You may be working with them. They will just keep telling you you're bad. You're not doing great. You're really awful. But a really good leader will actually look at ways of working together and bringing out a solution. They are focused on the task. They're focused on the solution. Okay. Now, personal humility. They demonstrate a compelling modesty. Okay, you may have seen this really, really modest people. You have seen really old professors in universities, very, very quiet. They are human. They have personal humility. Okay, they don't want public, attention. They are not boastful. Act with quiet, calm determination. Okay, now I'm also just showing you what kind of personality. Quiet, calm, you know, relies on inspired standards, channels ambition into the company, not the self. Okay, some people try to put, advertisements and posts and all of that, that will make them look like the best CEO. You may have seen it. I'm the best CEO. You may have seen this in a lot of politicians. I'm the best. Vote for me. I'm great. I'm this. We do this even in organizations. Okay, so even as managers, we'll put a PR article so that our name is out there. Okay, but a leader with personal humility will always focus on the organization, someone else. Okay, and again, they look out the window. Okay, they don't try to take credit, they give it to other people. That's the other side of it. They don't look at themselves and try to get, okay, I'm like this. Okay, so that is level 5 leadership. Now I'm going to quickly go through the composition of leadership. I borrowed this model from Leading with Honor. So at the foundation, you have your character. Okay, great leaders have a great character. And in that character, very important is integrity and trust. You must have an honorable character. What is integrity? Integrity is what you do when someone else is not looking. Integrity is what you think, what you do, and what you say has to match. Okay. Trust. You must be trustworthy. Ethical. You must do what is right. Authentic. Don't be fake. Okay. Authentic. Be yourself. If you're having a bad day, you're having a bad day. You're not having a perfect life all the time. No one on Facebook is authentic, right? Okay. On Instagram, no one is authentic. Values driven. You have values. You know what values are. So I'm not going to tell you what values are. And then we have relationships or results. Okay. Those are our personality and behaviors. Some people are relationship oriented. Some people are results oriented. Okay. They say that 40% of leaders are relationship based, 40% are results based, only 20% have a balance between the two. So it's important to have a nice balance. So what's the meaning of results? Results oriented is you go and push someone, do. We have a deadline. Okay, how do you want to do this? Let's do this. Relationship is also finding out, okay, we have a deadline tomorrow. Are you able to do it? Do you need extra help? Okay, finding ways of how to make that person feel okay to do it, that without making that person really stressed and upset and down and really worried. So a person with a relationship orientation as well as a results orientation, someone with a nice balance, will be able to tell, I need this report 1 week from now. Can you do this report in a week? Are you able to do this report in a week? Okay, then you get the consent. Yes. Okay. Now, if you are going to do this report in a week, what help do you want? Okay, fine. Now, some leaders are not in a position to give you time like that because they are also being pushed. Okay, there are urgent situations. In a situation like that, the leader can be like, okay, I need to deliver this report tomorrow. What can I do to support you? What help do you need? Okay, it can be as small as keeping them company. It can be as small as letting them work from home. It can be as small as ordering them a meal, okay, while they work. So all of these things, small things can be done, okay? You identify what makes you happy. At least a text saying, are you doing okay? Sometimes goes a long way, okay? I'm proud of you goes a long way, okay? So that is your natural personality and behavior. What it says is to have a mix of relationship orientation and results orientation, okay? Focus on getting the task done, but also make people feel like they like to do it, okay? Emotional intelligence, this is my pet area, okay? I'm doing my doctorate in this area, so I love this area, and there's a reason why I love it, because we need to have a lot of emotional intelligence, okay? And then of course you have competencies are your skills, your knowledge, your training, your qualifications, experience, all of that makes you a good someone with good skills and competencies, and who's able to understand theories and concepts, and who can work fast, all of these skills. Okay, now I've told you a little bit, so now I talk to you about character. So character, you will find, I've selected the ones I see that have these characteristics. Martin Luther King, he has a lot of integrity. He's strongly values driven, and he's authentic. Okay, and Mother Teresa. Admiral Stockdale. Now, this is an interesting concept actually. Stockdale paradox. He was actually, I think he was a platoon leader who was in war. His plane crashed, and he fell straight into the enemy's camp. Okay, so the greatest lesson that came out of there is, while in the prison, okay, he was like assaulted, he was tortured, and he had a whole lot of other people also who were kept, his people who got caught at different stages of the war. I believe it was Second World War. I can't remember. I can't remember actually which war it was. But he had a whole lot of other people, Americans, who were also kept inmates, who were prisoners. And in that prison, he was motivating people. Okay, he did not let them give up. Okay, they learned words, how to communicate through code, through a tap, through a noise. Okay, and the Stockdale paradox came from Admiral James Stockdale, which he said very importantly is that confront your reality. Okay, confront the brutal facts in your life. Things might be really hard. Okay, face them. Okay, you might be in a really tough situation. Face them. Confront your current reality, the brutal facts of your current reality. But never lose faith that you will win in the end. Okay, so it's a paradox. One is accept the negative, but have faith in the future positive. Okay, so that's the Stockdale paradox. I just wanted to share that with you. You can Google it and search what the Stockdale paradox is. And it's something I live by. You know, during the toughest times of life, we know, okay, confront your brutal reality. Okay, right now, life is really, really bad. Right now, we are in the worst economic slump. Yes, but it doesn't end here. We will prevail. We will win. We will come out of it. And that's where your faith comes in. Okay, so you accept, I know we are in a bad position and it'll take time for us. It's not going to turn around tomorrow. And why is it important to confront your current reality? Is so that you don't have false hope. Okay, if you lose a loved one, okay, my loved one has died. My loved one has left me. That is my current reality. But I'm not going to get over it tomorrow. That is actually the brutal fact. Okay, I'm not going to be able to get up and just live a normal life tomorrow. That's okay. And that is your current reality, telling you to be sensible about it. But 1 year from now, I'm going to be back to normal. And that is your faith in the future. Okay, so that is a little bit about the characteristics of the leaders and the kind of leaders who have these characteristics. I talked about natural talent, so I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to skip Maxwell because we have exactly 20 minutes more. And I'm going straight into characteristics of a good leader. And there are some emotional intelligence traits in this as well. Self-awareness. I'll tell you what self-awareness is. Respect. Okay. Respect, even if you're a teacher. Now, as a teacher, I respect my students. Okay. So respect is both ways. Okay. Respect the person even below you. Even the person who is serving you the tea. Respect them. Speak to them with respect. Use a nice name or miss or madam or anything. It's okay. Okay. You don't need to use, just they are not, just because they are blue collar workers, it doesn't mean that they don't need respect. Okay, respect. Compassion. Compassion is deeper than sympathy. Compassion is you actually feel for them. Okay, empathy is you feel with them. Okay, compassion is you feel for them. Vision. Okay, they have dreams. They have a future in mind. Communication is so important. Okay, how you talk to someone can actually make or break the say, right? Before you communicate, is it necessary? Is it kind? Okay, our communication must be kind. We are not kind in our communication. Okay, we just say what we think, and we feel happy when we say what we think because we feel like we've won. Okay, but communication can actually break a person's entire life. Okay, learning agility is the ability to learn fast. Collaboration, work together. Okay, a good leader will work together. Influence, they're able to influence without really doing anything, by just being themselves. People are going to look at you. You may not know, but now, right now, you might be influencing about another 100 people by just being yourself. Okay, influencing in a good or bad way. Integrity, courage, gratitude, resilience. I like to stop at gratitude and resilience. Gratitude is the most beautiful thing to have. Okay, so if you are happy with what you have, it's the law of attraction. It's only going to get multiplied. Okay, and this is a theory that is, it's a separate session about your mind and how your mind, your reticular activating system can actually attract more when you are actually in an abundance mindset. So that is gratitude. Okay, so those are the characteristics of a good leader. And if you have at least four or five of them, you are okay. Okay. So the art of successful leadership is the skill of knowing yourself and knowing others. This is my pet area, my favorite area, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about emotional intelligence. Now, we think emotional intelligence is just feeling, feeling something, having emotions. But emotional intelligence has been a big concept. So many people, Mayer, Boyatis, Goldman, all of them, they're psychologists, so came up with concepts regarding emotional intelligence and why people need to have emotional intelligence, especially why leaders need to have emotional intelligence. Okay, now it is made up of these four. You're going to find this important because we should have emotional intelligence in colleges. We should have emotional intelligence amongst teachers. We must have emotional intelligence in organizations. It is the most important thing, I think, ever. Okay, because when you are emotionally intelligent, you are going to treat people better. You're going to treat students better. Okay, you're going to encourage and motivate people in a different way. Okay, so emotional intelligence is made up of four components: social awareness, relationship management, self-management, self-awareness. What does that mean? Very simply, self-awareness is knowing yourself. And that is why I started with who am I? Okay. Really, really understand yourself. What are your moods? What are your emotions? What do you feel? What's your sense of who are you? Okay. What's your social self? What's your perceived self? Okay, what's the self that you want other people to see of you? Who are you truly? Okay, what kind of traits do you have? Do you have integrity? Are you honest? Are you truly, truly honest? Are you truly, truly trustworthy? Do you even say a white lie sometimes? Are you scared to express yourself? Do you actually, are you a little rude to some people, but are you submissive to other people? People are like that, okay? Sometimes I'm like that. I'm a little cautious with some people, but with others, I'm like, with family, we just scream and shout and, we really throw our weight around with them, right? But then when we go into a social setting, we're very nice and calm, accommodating, double personality, right? Why are our emotions so different? So truly so if there's anything you want to take out of this, go back home and think, who am I? What am I thinking? What am I doing out there? What kind of message am I giving out to society? What am I doing for, am I having good thoughts? Am I having kind thoughts? Do I want other people to do well also? Or am I selfish? Okay, so self-awareness. Then once you know yourself, you can manage your emotions. Okay, and self-management comes as you get older. Okay, it can't be expected from someone very young because they are not emotionally mature. But as you get older, you start becoming wiser, right? And that is why you become more skilled at managing your emotions. And that is why, even if you're having some really, really bad news that day, and if you're in the middle of 100 people looking at you, you control how you feel, okay? I might be having a really bad day and I'll have a lecture that day. I can't come to the class and say, I can't do this today. I hate this. I can't. Okay. I should not be doing the lecture, number one, because I'm aware that I'm going through a bad, if I am going through a bereavement, I will not take up a lecture because I know I'm not going to be able to come and smile and say, life is great. Why? Because I'm going through an emotion at that point of time. So at the times that you can control your emotion, you control your emotions. At the time you cannot, you stay away. Okay. But you need to manage your emotions and you need to very specially manage your anger. Okay. Your anger, your frustration, physical display of anger, like PDA, public display of anger. Okay. So emotional self-control, adaptability, adapt to the situation. Okay. If you are if you have no choice, you adapt. And that is why people hire for attitude and train for skill. Okay. I always hire for attitude and I train them for skill because anyone can be trained for skill. Achievement orientation and positive outlook. I like positive outlook. Look at things on the bright side. Social awareness. And in here, I want point out empathy. Okay, empathy is so different from sympathy. Okay, sympathy is you feel sorry for someone, but you don't contribute. Okay, empathy is you feel their pain. You put yourself in their shoes. You feel their anger. You feel their worry. You feel their anxiety. You are able to connect on the same wavelength as another person. And we need a lot of empathy. Now, if we have empathy, these are all very, very deep concepts, and each of these concepts will have to be understood separately for us to really live it. But a person, very simply, if you have empathy, and if someone comes and tells you how I feel, you know exactly how that feeling is. And when you know how that person feels, that makes you an empathetic person. Okay. And then relationship management, that is the fourth dimension, where you influence, you can coach, you can help negotiate, and then you also are able to inspire. Okay, so that's a little bit about emotional intelligence. Now, this is the last section. I believe we have about 10 minutes more. So I'm going to go into the motivation. Okay, and I'm sure all of you know Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and we are starting from our basic needs, hunger. Okay, that's the basic need. You do not want security. Okay, we had so many discussions over this. If you're hungry, you're not worried about your life. Okay, firstly, you would want to eat, and then you will be worried about your security. And if you are hungry, you're not going to be really, really worried about whether you have a loved one or not. Okay, that is why when you're really hungry, you don't care about anyone else. You want to eat. Okay, you want to fulfill your basic needs, and this is a journey that we go up. Okay, in our life, we go from physiological needs to safety to love, and then esteem. Esteem is you want to wear the best brand, you want to drive a car. Okay, but then you go into self-actualization, and that's the highest level, where then you want to contribute to a bigger cause. You want to become someone who's going to transform someone else's life. You're going to change lives. You contribute. Okay, self-actualization is contribution. I'm not going to take you through this because that's going to take some time. And then, if you are also into motivating other people, you need to identify that we have three other motivators. We are affiliated to one of these three. Okay, we either want, so we have all these three needs. Okay, but one is strong, one is really strong. Okay, you decide which one are you. Do you have need for achievement, need for affiliation, or need for power? What is affiliation? Affiliation is connection, relationships. Achievement, winning, getting the top batch top award. Need for achievement. I want to get 90 marks out of 100. Achievement. Affiliation. I want everyone to like me. Affiliation. I want everyone to respect me. Affiliation. Need for power. I don't care if anyone likes me. I just want to be the one on. I just want to be the most powerful person. I want to be the director. I want to be the manager. I want to achieve this power. Or I want people to, treat me like someone who is great. Okay, that's the need for power. And my power also went. Okay, so I believe, and then I'd like to touch on engagement, employee engagement. Okay, so if you're going to be working in an organization, and when you are going to be a leader who is going to have a team under you, this is another dimension. Now you can see when your people are working under you, you can identify, do they want achievement, do they want relationships, or do they want to be powerful? Okay, or when they are working, they need to actually like the work that they do in three different ways: emotional, cognitive, and physical. They have to be physically capable of doing the job. Okay, when you're appointing people to a job, even as a leader, student leader, whatever, that's fine. They have to be physically capable, able, willing to do it. Cognitive, their mind needs to be into it. Okay, they need to share the vision, they need to share the dream, the organizational goals, they need to be part of it. Cognitive, their mind needs to be stimulated by that. Emotional, they need to they need to find that work meaningful to their life. Is this adding value to my life? Okay, so these are the 3 types of engagement that employees look for. Okay, and I'm going to skip this because this is very simply about who you want to become. What can I improve today? How can I work faster? How can I boost my productivity? And how can I wow my customers even more? Okay. And I'll close with stress because this is, I think, was part of the workshop. Okay. If you think stress is a bad thing, think twice, because stress can be a good thing. And good stress is called eustress. Okay. Eustress. So what is stress? I'm sure you have felt this feeling overwhelmed, mental and emotional pressure, emotional and physical tension. Okay. So what is stress really? It's the way your body reacts to a demand or a challenge that you're facing, a problem, an issue. But your body starts reacting to that in a certain manner because that's how our biology is made. Your brain is sending a message to your body, okay, there's a problem here. And then, get ready, danger ahead. Okay, and that's your reaction. And how you have acute stress. Okay, acute stress is common. You just get it like, if you have a deadline tomorrow, you will get it. Okay, I have to finish this today. I have so many things to finish, but it's over. Once you finish, it's over. Acute stress. Okay, short term. Episodic, recurring when too much work or responsibility. Okay, episodic. That happens maybe if you have a really stressful job or if you're a student, always studying. Okay, it's recurring, right? I finish one assignment now. I need to do the other one. Oh God, I need to do another one. When does this end? Episodic. Okay, recurring. Chronic, caused by long-term exposures to stressors. Chronic stress could be abusive relationships, abusive bosses. Okay, so what, you're constantly in that situation and you're now getting deeper and deeper and deeper into it. It's not ending, so it's getting into a really bad stage. Okay, in these situations I suggest you get help or leave. Okay, do not ever be in a chronic stress situation. Okay, episodic and acute, I mean, acute is very short term, it's normal. Episodic, again, it's something to do with you or that person who's giving you the work. If you're constantly getting stressed over deadlines, you're probably starting your assignment very late or starting your project proposal or you're doing your job in the last minute. Okay, so these are the types of stress. How do you identify stress? Okay, psychologically, you're going to start feeling worried and disturbed. You can't concentrate. Physically, you're going to start seeing, weight changes, health issues, cold, cough, fever. Those are all symptoms of stress because your body's getting, agitated. Emotions, anger, frustration, you're crying, you're moody, and behavior. You stop taking care of yourself. You start turning to addictions, different types, okay? Movies, Netflix, drinks, drugs, alcohol, cigarette. It can even be Netflix. Okay, these are behavioral styles of stress. You're just trying to release it in a certain way. But the most common is that you stop taking care of yourself. Okay, now, good stress is eustress. So don't worry. Okay, and the bad stress is distress. So when you're excited about something, if you have something that you're looking forward to, and you're still a little stressed, oh my God, I'm traveling to another country tomorrow, and oh, maybe I'm just going to be like I've got a scholarship, or you're going to a new uni, or you've got a new job. Okay, these are positive stresses. You kind of see it as a positive challenge. You're excited and you're motivated to go. Okay, so that is also eustress. Identify eustress in yourself. If you're not feeling really down and sad, and if you're feeling excited about it, like butterflies in your stomach, but still, you need to kind of get things done fast, that's eustress. Okay, it is distress that's negative. Okay, you start seeing it as a negative thing and you start feeling anxiety, not not excitement, you feel anxiety and procrastination. You drag your feet, you don't do it. I can't do it today, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it day after. Oh God. And that's why your deadlines get closer. Okay. So that is distress. Okay. Stay away from distress. Now, how do you manage stress? I'm just going to give you two ways. Time stress. Okay. Break down your 24 hours. You have 7 hours to sleep, 3 hours for your meals, 2 hours for your personal care. You have 12 hours for work and yourself. What on earth are you doing with your 168 hours? Okay. So break your 24 hours into little segments, and then you can actually divide. Use a checklist. There is something called the urgent important matrix. What is urgent? Note it down. What is important but not urgent? Note it down. Finish what's urgent first and do what you can immediately. If you need to do something, do it immediately. Maybe you need to stretch yourself a little bit, but finish it off. Okay, I remember this line. Finish it off. Okay, then you're released. Okay, so that is how you manage time stress. And if you have to manage people stress, understand if the problem is them or you. If it is you, what are your patterns? What is your behavior? And how can you actually increase your efficiency or bridge that knowledge gap? If it is them, if you can approach them, speak to them, discuss your concerns. If you can't do it directly, get the help of someone else. Okay? And if nothing works, then shut your mind off to what maybe you might be able to shut your mind off. Okay, I'm not going to let it affect me. Okay, if you still can't do that, and if it's turning into chronic, cut the connection, move away, leave, stop. Okay, because nothing is as important as your mental wellness. I strongly believe that. And if it's job knowledge activity stress, okay, that comes from stress from that comes from not knowing enough or not being efficient enough. Then you just develop yourself. Okay, you have so many things: Headway, Udemy, Google, ChatGPT, Claude AI. You have all of these things, right? I'm sure you must be doing your work reports, assignments, all of that with help of them. Bard. Okay, all these are sources of knowledge. Use your AI, use other books. Okay, learn, improve your knowledge on the area that you are weak on. Okay, nothing stops us from learning on our own. Practice, keep repeating. Okay, when you repeat, it becomes better, easier, you get to know more. And sign up for a course, paid, free, whatever, and ask for help. Okay, the best thing is to just ask someone, learn from someone else. Okay, so that is a little bit about managing stress, and I shall end it with everything you can imagine is real. Over to you, Zafra, if you're there.
Yes. So thank you very much, Ms. Shameena, for your valuable insights on business psychology that covered a lot of areas, especially about emotional intelligence and stress, and how, what qualities really makes a good leader, and so many other insights within a very short time period. So I hope even the participants found it useful and would try to apply certain ideas even on their daily lives. So I think nobody has any more questions. If so, y'all can ask. Or I think it's good to end the session now.
I think I will have to leave, my dear, because my battery is dying. So if
Okay.
there's any questions, please send it to me because my power just went and my
Okay.
battery will die. So if there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer later on. No worries
Okay.
at all. Thank you.
Okay, then thank you very much, everyone, for joining and for giving your valuable time to participate in this session. So hope to see you in another workshop, and good night.